name is Daniel Hinchliffe, and I work for GIZ, it's German Development Corporation. And I work in a project called Sustainable Solid Waste Management and Circular Economy. And I'm responsible for our electronic waste management component. We develop concepts for more sustainable e-waste management worldwide, and support and finance events like this one, this e-waste business bootcamp, as well as the last two e-waste academies in Tanzania and in Thailand for our project, in collaboration with United Nations University, who've been implementing this series of workshops for us. We see these events as a good way to improve e-waste management in various businesses and also partner countries worldwide, particularly where you can start to bring a dynamic into these countries or at a regional level for exchange between participants on policies, but also successful business models, or how they can operate successfully in this field. Our project is financed by the Ministry of Economic Development and Cooperation, BMZ, and that's where all of the sponsorships come for these events. So we also advise them on international political processes and try to bring more visibility to the e-waste issue worldwide as well. I think it's really important that these participants get a chance to exchange with people who've got similar experiences. It's quite interesting. A lot of the participants have already said in the first day, "Oh wow, it's exciting. We've all got the same problems." But you might find someone who's recycling lighting products in one country who has a solution for someone who's not yet done that in another country, or they're not sure how to go about it. And you have some startup or entrepreneurs who are trying to somehow find a way in this complex electronic waste management scene, and they really benefit from having some more guidance on how they can more effectively target their business. The last 2 days we've had a lot of kind of general business advice for startups, and one of the things that came out of that was to really focus your business onto a few priorities. Instead of kind of doing lots of things badly, you can kind of do one thing well. And I think if you can bring this knowledge to some of these businesses and enable this exchange between countries in this South-South dynamic, this is really useful for the participants. I think it's interesting because a lot of these countries don't necessarily have their own treatment facilities, like an end refinery. So this can be an interesting point. If you're exporting to Europe, then you have to have the right contacts, and maybe they can share some of these contacts and also start to develop regional initiatives, or think about what they can use from other countries, which has been working there. I think that there are a lot of interesting ideas being developed for each of the contexts, which can then be replicated elsewhere. Maybe they need a little bit of adaptation. But if you compare it to the European context, where we don't necessarily have this very established informal sector, I mean, it still exists, but there's also a lot of infrastructure here. Most of these countries are dealing with an informal sector which is very competitive and difficult to compete against when you're doing sustainable recycling. And I think this is really an area where these different recyclers can kind of exchange on how they've been dealing with this, and how they find ways to make value out of e-waste, but at the same time do it in a sustainable manner. And it's interesting having a different dynamic, or different types of companies along the e-waste value chain, because they can start to exchange between each other and develop their own. They can understand from different points of view along the e-waste chain. I hope that this workshop will empower these entrepreneurs to go back to their countries, and maybe in contexts where the policy is not supporting them, they'll find ways to become more effective and also bring more informal actors, maybe collectors or recyclers, either into a more sustainable practice. But hopefully they'll be able to go back and develop their business models in a way that makes them more effective, even if there are varying prices for raw materials, which impact their business negatively. But they'll be able to work with these periods better and also be able to kind of bring in the original dynamic that's necessary to also then lobby policymakers to set up a sustainable e-waste management system with maybe extended producer responsibility, which will enable them to become more effective in the long term. So that's the idea, and hopefully it works. And then maybe we can go in and support with further assistance once this original or this network is starting to take shape.